Discount Assassin's Blade. Gotta love them. But yeah, if you didn't quite get that, that was my anticipation for video game movies slowly dying with Assassin's Creed. Not slowly dying, it finally has died, because this is a movie I thought could break the trend of bad video game movies. It looked interesting. Assassin's Creed is an interesting series. It has a very cinematic feel to it. But the movie we got, it did not do the video game series justice. I expected it to be, this big assassin, like a big Assassin's Creed story like we've got before. But imagine if you took Assassin's Creed and you had Ezio in the past, but you kept cutting back and playing as Desmond Miles in the future, who was like hooked up to the Animus and actually doing what the character in the past is doing. Imagine if, like, 50% of the time you were in the present, or maybe even more than that. That's what this movie is, and that's what brings the movie down, because it's boring. It has a fairly interesting plot. Michael Fassbender plays a guy who is on death row. He's going to be killed. He gets the lethal injection. But he finds himself in, this sort of assassin company. I forgot the name of it. I haven't played the games in so long, and the movie really didn't refresh my memory of it because it was boring and I've forgotten by the end of it. But he gets brought to the Assassin's Creed, program, and he gets put into one of his ancestors, and they're looking for a certain artifact, and he has to go and find it. And it's interesting enough because, he's a guy that's got nothing going for him. He's going to die, but he still doesn't want to do this. And it's like, it's interesting to look at those things, and the stuff that does happen in the past is fairly interesting. But my problem with it is everything that happens in the past, there are cool action sequences and there are things to like, but everything happens so fast, like when they're in the past. And I don't just mean the fact that there's barely anything that happens in the past. I mean the fact that when they are, and when there are action sequences that take place, they happen so fucking fast, and you can't appreciate how good they are if they're that fast. It's like Quantum of Solace. It's like all the Bond films have such good action, and that one Bond film, you don't know what's going on, and that's what this one is like. So that's one of my gripes with Assassin's Creed, other than the fact that it's pretty boring. I mean, everyone does a fine job in the movie. Michael Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, and Jeremy Irons are all fine. They don't get too much time to do things, but they're fine. Well, Michael Fassbender does, he's the main character, but I mean everyone else. Jeremy Irons isn't really in this a lot. He's just sort of behind the scenes, but he does well because he's Jeremy Irons and he always does well. But I think, I'm not going to say that this movie was mismarketed, because actually when you watch the trailers, a lot of it does take place in present day in the trailer, so we kind of should have known what to expect. But it had a lot of cinematic stuff happen in the past that made me feel like this could be one of those movies that will bring video game movies out of the dirt. And it just didn't really do that for me, and I'm disappointed that it didn't, because I thought Assassin's Creed as a movie would be great. And I think this is taking place in the Assassin's Creed universe. It's not like a reboot or anything. I got told it was a prequel to the original Assassin's Creed, and that Michael Fassbender was the predecessor to Ezio. I don't know how true that is. I'll be honest, I haven't actually played the first Assassin's Creed. I played the second, third, Black Flag, you name it, but I haven't played the first one. So I can't say if that personally is true, but if it is, pretty cool that they've done that. But it's just, this movie was one big missed opportunity, and that kind of saddens me a little bit, because even when you do meet the assassin in the past, you don't know anything about him. You don't get told anything about, like, nothing about the plot is explained to you apart from the fact that he's a death row prisoner, he's going into the past. Nothing else is explained, and that's what kind of took me out of the movie, because I didn't know what was going on 100% of the time, and it made little sense for a lot of the runtime, and it felt long. It felt like a long movie, and it's not that long. It's like 115 minutes. And it sort of opened up with the assassin and everything, but then it cuts to just Desmond, and he's in prison, obviously, like, death row inmate, and that wasn't explained. That transition was not explained at all. It didn't need to happen. It could have just started with Michael Fassbender's character and just gone on from there, and they could have explained it. So feel like, yeah, like I said, this movie is a missed opportunity. It was a disappointment. It's not as terrible as people are saying. Like, people are slamming it too hard, I think. It's not as bad as you might expect from what you've read up about it. But at the same time, if you are an Assassin's Creed fan, I think you'll probably be disappointed with the movie, because I was, and I really did want more from it. And they set up for a sequel, which we probably won't get. I'd like to see a sequel, I guess. I mean, I want to see what they do with this, because obviously this movie was just a setup. And now that it's all set up, I feel like they could take this, put it into a new story, but have the story just start off with Michael Fassbender as this assassin, because, like, we already know now, it's already, the origin has happened, and we don't need, well, we need things explained to us, because this movie didn't explain a lot, but we need a movie that just takes place in the past, maybe mostly, but I don't know. I don't know how that'll work. I mean, this movie sort of ends on a note where you're like, it's set up for a sequel, but I don't know how they can follow it up. Once you see the movie, you'll get it. I don't really want to spoil anything for it if people are like interested in seeing it, but yeah, the way they finish it, I'm not too sure how they could carry it on. But overall, Assassin's Creed, it looks nice. The visuals are pretty cool, apart from this weird shot of this bird that looks terrible. But yeah, the visuals are nice. The action's okay, apart from the fact that it's too fast. Overall, yeah, like I said, disappointing movie, but if you are an Assassin's Creed fan, you might appreciate it if you know the lore, because it has a lot of lore, and I've got to give it props for having the Assassin's Creed lore in it. But I mean, I can't say it's a good movie because it's not. So Assassin's Creed overall, let me know what you guys think, because I want to know if there's actually people that genuinely love this movie, because it's cool. I hope there is, because I want to know why, and I want to sort of see other people's points on this movie, because all I've seen about it is negative things so far. So Assassin's Creed wasn't a movie for me, but I can see like Assassin's Creed, like hardcore Assassin's Creed fans having fun and enjoying this movie. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. And I'm bringing you a top 10 worst and best movies of 2016 video. It's overdue, I guess, but I'm going to do it. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all soon.